Okay, thank you. Okay, my name is Parminder Kocher, and I'm director of Software Innovation Center within Cisco. And basically, what we do is look at technologies ahead, look at 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road, and start investing in those ideas and prototype in some cases, and then take it to the customers, run some pilots, get the value case, what big companies look for, see if there is a value case for that, and we can take it to the market. So I'm going to share one of such innovations that we did and that we are very proud of, and it's IoE and analytics for retail, basically highlighting the IoE possibilities in the area of retail. So we'll talk 3 topics at a high level given our 25 to 30 minutes time we have. So John, keep me honest on time. Please show me the signal. First will be innovation in retail. Why now, right? Retail has been there, but why now innovation in retail? And then we'll talk about the customer behavior, specifically from the technology impact perspective, right? How customer behavior is changing given the change in technology. And then we'll talk about, when we see why innovation now, what are the technology impacts that is changing customer behavior, what are customers looking for. Then we'll bring in the whole story together with IoE. So how IoE addresses those points that customers are looking for, as well as the constraints that we'll see, or the problem or the challenges that we'll see innovation in retail, right? There are a lot of use cases we have been working on. There's the whole family of solution there, but I'll just cover briefly 2 use cases at a high level, showing some insights into those, and then I'll just briefly talk about what else can be done or what else is going in the market and where I see basically things going. So let's go from there, innovation retail. So then the question here is, why now, right? So we all know innovation is happening, technology is going really fast. I think there are 3 reasons from my perspective. I'll start from the very, very basic one. And let me make a differentiation also very clear here. When I say retail, I'm talking about brick and mortar stores, right? Online retail is all e-commerce. So my first basic reason is, how many of you have not shopped online in last, say, 30 to 60 days? Raise your hand, please. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4. So that tells you, right? See what is happening here? People are shopping online. And the impact that is happening to brick and mortar stores, either they're going to shut down or we're going to struggle with this, right? So innovation is needed right now to save them. That's first point. Second is, how many of you have seen people who bought this also bought this? How many of you have seen people who bought this also bought this? Almost everyone. What is that? There you go. Power of data and power of analytics. So now put yourself in the shoes of this brick and mortar store owners and feel how you're feeling. Don't you feel, hey, these online guys have some kind of unfair advantage over us? Come on, they can track how much time you spent on which page. They can track how many products you looked at. They can track what did you compare, right? They can track, actually, you add some things to the cart and you don't purchase. They can track that also. And in 30 minutes, you have an email with a coupon forcing you to buy, right? Make a choice. Or this is only valid until next 24 hours. Huge advantage. So how do we bring the retailers, and I'll start calling brick and mortar retailers as retailers, okay? How do we bring these retailers, number one, to at par with these guys, online guys, and then how do we disrupt? So we'll talk about that. That's the main topic of my talk, okay? Third reason is not a problem or a challenge, is actually an opportunity, which is Internet of Everything. So Cisco term is Internet of Everything. What is that? It's basically a networked connection between 4 things: people, process, tools, and things. So it's actually a superset of Internet of Things, right? So how big is Internet of Everything? Well, we think it is $19 trillion market. I'm sure people have heard. I was talking to John yesterday. John was referencing to $40 trillion market. I was talking to another guy today. He said 23 trillion market. And I'm like, it does not matter after 10 trillion. There's enough of zeros right there. We can all eat our own lunch, right? So that's what is at stake. Now why I'm talking about that value? Because if I put really retail there, retail will be the top third industry that will create that value. So that's huge. All right, so we need to keep them alive, right? So these are the three things why innovation now in retail. Let's look at just at a snapshot, again, where the retail stands today. I think I already built the case, 27% of US GDP. E-commerce is growing by 16, 17%. And naturally, brick and mortar kind of stores or retail stores, growth is very weak. Okay. What is the reason that online retailing is growing 16, 70%? It's driven by technology. If you see a lot of surveys, if you see a lot of studies, it's because of the data approach that they have taken, and especially analytics on top of that. So let's talk about the consumer behaviors. Who knows here? Who are millennials? Anyone? So look around, you all, most of these guys are, you guys are millennials, right? Why are they different? Why are they unique? What is changing, right? And we are talking about customer behavior now, again, trying to build the need for what we need to do in retail and why, okay? These guys grew up with technology, right? You know, when I was young, I had notebook, which meant paper notebook and a pen or a pencil. When they grew up, they had a different kind of notebook. So very, very attached to those technology gadgets and everything. So they have that relationship and trust built into technology where they are ready to actually do everything online. And that's what the impact actually, if you really see, that is causing a big impact. So if you see some of the survey numbers here, 92% can be influenced on where they shop. They are very open to share their personal information. This is a gap between millennials and other age groups. Other thing is, there are 80 million plus millennials today in the United States, which is a huge market. Other thing, if you look at, is in 2017, they will have the most purchasing power as compared to any other age group. So if they are going there, what happens to our retailers, brick and mortar retailers? Okay, for that, so now, what do they want really? So this was the surveys, combining every customer, what do you really want from retailers and everything. At high level, as I said, technology is changing their behavior. They're saying, look, we need efficiency, savings, and engagement. Engagement in very particular, which is in mind trust. Don't give me a survey, don't give me 2 pages of document and say, can you fill this, can you fill that? It becomes a big issue, right? Because then retailers are looking for themselves. They are asking, tell me what will help me. Let's take an example of online. When we go online, people who bought this also bought this, right? Or some other recommendations. They're really meaningful because they're doing a lot of data mining. And if we just continue to show, and I think you had some kind of discussion this morning also, some coupons and anything that doesn't help, you're going to lose them, right? So that's one aspect. Savings, certainly everybody's in love for savings, right? But do it in a right way. And then efficiency. Efficiency is all about, I don't want to stand in the queue for 5-10 minutes. How many people just don't shop online, just shop online because they don't want to go and stand in the queue? See this? How do you change that? Exactly, that's what those customers are asking, and that's what these retailers have to provide to stay in business. So we'll talk more about that. So why Cisco? I introduced my organization, right? Why did we look into this? Cisco is a router and switching company. Why are you getting into this? Well, we're a data company, if you really see now, right? There is a lot of data that goes through these routers and switches and our infrastructure, data center and everything. And what we can do is really correlate all this data. We have offerings in call center, right? We all know that. We are running our own data centers. We have cameras, Cisco branded cameras that we are selling for physical and safety and security perspective in stores. So if you combine all this, now you are talking about a lot of data, right? Now you can mine that data, correlated data. Now you can get the real value out of this. So that's the reason we went into that, right? Now, when we talk about data, what is mobile? What is video? What is Wi-Fi and all these things? I just defined Internet of Everything, right? That's take us to Internet of Everything. Now we're going to collect all the data through all kind of sensors. You can see here, this is not just retail kind of slide. This is manufacturing, oil and gas, you name it. The differentiation is how do you process this data at the edge? That sub-bullet that you see on the top, widely distributed, streaming, short shelf life, too big to move. Short shelf life of data means after some time the life of that data is just limited. After some time, it's not valid anymore. You cannot do anything out of that other than creating your past matrices. So for those reasons, you have to process data at the edge. Now let's compare again online and our online retailers and offline retailers, right? The advantage point of online retailers have is they make those decisions real time and basically propose you new things. They make wise decisions, right? And what our retailers do today, for example, Target, there's a famous example. They sent out coupons to a pregnant teen, right? After quite some time. But what happens is they're collecting all this data, sending it to their data center, crunching some analytics there, printing some paper coupons or emails and sending it out. But data has a short life. When you are giving that much time to the customer to go get that work done somewhere else or purchase somewhere else, right? And that's where online folks have 360 view of the customer. As soon as I go there, I log in, they know my past history, they know what I have been browsing, they know, from Google what I've been searching and everything. They can propose me right things. So the challenge here, and now we're getting into the problem, is how do you provide that 360 view of the customers to these retailers so that they can also, just like online retailers, can make those decisions in a right way. Real time, when I say right way, real time and smart. So let's get into that. So I'm going to cover two use cases, as I said, shopper insights and checkout optimization. We'll talk more on various other use cases, but this is the basic that is required to at least get them to that power level that I was talking about. Shopper insights basically measure, it takes the data from all kinds of sensors, right, and measures the footprint of the traffic in your store, and dwell time, how much time customers are spending, which area, and so on. And then you have checkout optimization, which is all about, the problem we were talking about. A lot of people just don't want to go to the stores because of the checkout time wait, right? How can they solve that? So the first use case, shopper insights, we're going to talk about how long the visitors stay. This is the kind of information, again, real-time information where these retailers can make the decisions. I'm not going to go through all the questions because they're already showing the time limit. But think about the last two. How can we convert more shoppers into buyers? Very important, right? Otherwise, this is no good. I want to create value. Innovation is all about creating value, creating new revenues, saving costs, right? So if you really see, the next is, can we provide better targeted content to our customers? That's precisely the problem we are trying to solve here. All right. So we'll take an example of an automotive showroom. We'll take three different examples. So first is in terms of retail, an automotive showroom. Okay. Now let's execute our shopper insights on this automotive showroom. Think about the zoning, right? GM showroom. You can take Toyota or whatever. So this is the use case that we have been doing. So it is zoned into GMC, Cadillac, Buick, and Chevy, right? What you see on the top, total traffic, that 147 number, I hope you are all able to see. It's showing basically the traffic coming in, right? Every day, how much traffic I'm getting. In the middle, you're getting at customer loyalty, right? How many new visitor versus returning visitors, and then you have average engagement time per visitor, right? So how can you use this? Well, this is basic data. You will say, Parminder, come on, we can do that. Well, okay. If it is real time, so here, take an example of when you're running a campaign, right? Some marketing campaign. And if what you see there is, you'll say, wow, I was running the campaign, my traffic really went up, and then it suddenly went down. But if you look at averages somewhere in the middle, so really, did your campaign work? All you did was, because you're showing some savings, you pull the customers, then what happened, right? Other way to look at it is, hey, if it was not a campaign, but it went down, was it because of some issue, customer didn't show up? Maybe weather, maybe something else. Where I'm going with this is, you can actually benchmark the data of every day. Think about it. Every minute, every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year, every year, right? Now you have that data, you can really plan how you want to really operate your business. What are your goals, right? And change those Make those changes to your processes, right? Now, customer loyalty, for example, 134 new, returning are 13. Well, if they're coming again, that means they're interested. Go get them, right? Now, talk about the real time here down below. Cadillac Zone has 45 right now. Buick has 75 customers right now. GMC has 35. And that's our engagement time, 20 minutes, 90 minutes. Where do you want it to be? If it is less, because you have very few sales guys on the floor, right? So again, various permutation and combination, and you can take the right actions. For example, here, Chevy, I have no one, almost no one there. So what I'm going to do is maybe move some sales guys to the area where I have 75 customers, right? So those are the kind of decisions you can make. Again, smart decisions. Let's go a little bit deep, right? So this is kind of zone level going by demographics. You see at the bottom, I still have the traffic and the 45 minutes demographics. How many male versus female? What is the age group? Right? It really allows you to plan your events as per your business needs. Right? Let's go to the next one. So this is my overall showroom traffic. Right? And the most important point I want to highlight is engagement. And we are talking about real time. 26% of customers are engaged right now. 74% are not. What should I do right away? How do I convert my shoppers into buyers? So this really adds that level of value, right? Okay, now talk about social media. Let's take the same use case, or you can take a restaurant use case, however you want. But social is very powerful. We talked about millennials. How many of you guys use social at any given time? Or every day? Let me see this. Good number, right? So if you are in the stores and you are tweeting or you are adding things to the Facebook, positive, certainly, as a store manager, as a owner, I will have, wow, I know what things are working for me. But those red things will show me, there is some negativity also. How do I address that? So very important on the social side also. So you bring data from all the sources. That's what we are talking about, Internet of Everything, right? Okay, now look at the dealership dashboard. Now I'm sitting around, I'm saying, okay, how did things go this week overall? Okay, good. Is it meeting my sales goals, right? Because if you go to any dealership, one thing they tell you is, oh, our sales goals are missed, it's end of the month, come down and we'll give you a good discount. And that's how they can look at it, right? Are we meeting the goals or not? What we need to change? What is the history of the week? And then compare it with the last month or a good week or a good month when everything worked fine. So what was different? What do I need to change? What stopped working? Right? So you can see it in that way. All right. So that was the use case about automobile. Let's talk about checkout optimization. Take any example, Target, Kohl's, Walmart, or wherever you go for shopping and you have a checkout lines. The idea behind this is, how can we shorten the customer wait times, right? And the key thing here is, does bark rate increase with queue length? We were working with one of the coffee stores. I won't take name. And their requirement was, can we check how many people come here? Two things. They just sit here and then don't buy our coffee. The second thing is, how many people come here, they see the queue and they just go back, right? You're losing the business. Does online guys have this problem? Probably you say no. A little bit they have, because they have to make sure their website is scalable, the response time of the pages are good. It's an easy problem to solve, but not in the case of retailers. How do you have always a short time, checkout time, right? So, and how do you know that? How do you predict how many customers I will get? So let's get into this one. So here in this application, or it's part of the same application, but just the use case, what we are showing is, that first chart on the right side, green and red. Green, you can define your goal, saying that I don't want any of my customers to have more than 2 minutes of waiting time in the queue. Now, if I go and tell you guys, okay, come to my store, you won't spend more than 2 minutes in the queue, probably you will consider me, right? So once you set that goal, that's the threshold. You can go actually, and this will show you where it's all green. Red means and orange means there are no customers right now on that, go shut it down, so that now you can take those human resources back and put them to some different work. So once that is done, also we show you the real-time traffic coming in those blue dashboard, right? And then finally, we did the same thing, what I was talking about. You can, benchmark this data. Again, guys, when we talk about, summertime or going back to school time, these things happen. So if you have everything benchmarked, the systems today can play with this data and tell you, recommend. So this is the recommendation. You see green, red color there. It says, our recommendation is next 5 minutes, you don't need to open any new registers, but in next 10 minutes, you will need 5 because I'm seeing this traffic coming in, and also I predict based on the data I already have, right? And then in the next 15 minutes, you will need 3. You can shut down 3. Now, if you see the interval 5, 10, 15, it depends upon you. It's configurable, right? Don't go by that. I just wanted to show you the value of this thing, how deep you can go. So these things bring the retailers at the par. There are a lot of things to do. Now let me close the next minute or so. Think about, we have not even integrated point of sale. So I was giving an example, when I go online, they have full view of who this customer is and everything, right? When I get into the store only knows when I'm there, when I swipe my credit card. They have no idea. Nowadays, maybe some stores have those Wi-Fi, and if you log into the Wi-Fi or they're using their app, maybe, but are they processing data at the edge? It's useless for them if they're collecting, they know I'm there, but they didn't take any action, they just know I'm there. And believe me, the use case they have solved is, a lot of customer comes, like 100 customer a day, only 20 buy. Who are those 80 customers so that we can send them some coupons? Well, okay, you are sending the coupon when I went home. I was right there in your store, why didn't you take care of me right there? So those are the things you have to address. So once you integrate your point of sale also to this, now the customer enters, you know who this customer is. Airline industry, they are providing these layers of services, right? Now this customer spends $1,000 or more than that a week in my store. How do I treat him differently? Then that takes us to the next level. Think about it, what is the difference today? What is the difference between online and retailers, right? The brick stores, right? Online you go, you are a virtual customer for them, and that's a virtual store for you guys, or us, right? Oops, I'm sorry. But if you go to the store, you are going a real human being into the physical store. That's the reality. And if we can provide some compelling experience to these real users, real customers, which is through human emotions, that's very big. So next trend is emotional analytics, right? We all talk about analytics, data analytics, and everything. Now you're talking about taking those feed through the cameras and running emotional analytics on that. How do you change that customer experience, making sure they're happy? Customer will come for the sake of coming to the store. For the experience sake in the store, right? What do you go to again and again to Disney and everything for the experience, right? You make that shopping experience a pleasurable one, they will come. So with that, I'll leave you with those thoughts, and I think I'm out of my time. Thanks everyone for their time, and I hope it makes sense. Questions?
Just quickly, are there any questions for Minda? Question?
There's another value. When you're in the store, to use the analytics to capture who, when a person comes into the store, either through their phone or facial recognition, going back to the social media, learning about them. Then when they dwell at a particular display, you've got Bluetooth beacon, you've got beacon. And it can tell your dwelling, and it can start even to present you information. And if it's engaged you for a couple of questions worth, by that time the salesperson can come over. You can even pick, if you're a large enough store, a salesperson who matches their personality.
Exactly.
So that gets back to your point about that they want an experience, they want to engage you.
Completely agree with you. I think very, very similar use case that we've been looking into is, language. When you go social, you tend to use your language also. So if I am reading from my social report that I have a lot of, say, for example, Korean people in the store, or I'm living in that community, so I need to make sure I have a lot of people who can speak their language and understand their culture. So a very good example, completely agree.
I had heard that Target was utilizing something similar to detect that shoplifting, like where they video, they could read and predict somebody that was going to steal something. Is
Yes.
that a use case?
Those are the
Yes.
use cases, yes. Those are the use cases of physical safety and security, yes.
Are there any other use cases other than the shopping, that and then that?
There are a lot of use cases. Think about where do you place products, right? What products you shouldn't place anymore. I mean, you can see that from the register, but you can really call out. Now, some things are there that people will buy online. You cannot do much about it. Now, you really want to be in that business. So there are a lot of such use cases that you can. Thank you. Good. Okay.
For Parminder.
All right. Thank you.